We've all worked for organizations that really, the HR department is very questionable. And throughout your career, you may find yourself in a position to where you're coming in after the disruption happened and they're expecting you to clean things up and turn things around within the human resources department. So, what do you do when the organization does not trust HR? How do you rebuild that trust? Now, step number one is be visible. Don't be the person who's sitting behind closed doors, not wanting anyone to interact with them because they're like, I'm busy. I don't want to be interrupted. People are always here asking questions, asking me to do things. I'm just going to sit here with my doors shut and I don't want to deal with anyone. Well, that creates a very untrustworthy, questionable situation for human resources. So if you really want to turn things around, keep the door open. Now, during private conversations, keep it shut. But when you're just in there, have that open door policy and allow employees to come to you to voice their concerns in a very confidential manner, which leads me to my next point is confidentiality. Make sure that you are not at the center of the gossip column within the organization. When an employee comes to you with a situation that is very personal, not having anything related to do with work at all, if it's something very confidential, very personal, please hold that in the utmost amount of confidentiality. And some conversations can be documented, some conversations should not be documented. And it is important to have that level of trust within the employees in order for that trust factor to continue getting higher and higher throughout the staff. Communicating effectively is important. Talking to the employees, verbalizing a lot of the policies, assuring that they have access to the policies is very important. Being able to articulate that information is very critical as well. So keep those lines of communication open, whether you prefer to be contacted via messenger or an in-office visit, virtual video calls, telephone calls, text messages. Just keep that line of communication open with the employees. Another thing to consider is making sure that the employees have access to the things that they need, the resources that they need. How do they complete open enrollment? When is open enrollment happening? How do they make changes to their payroll? When is payroll going to be processed? What is where is the payroll calendar? When is the next holiday? You will have a lot of questions being thrown in your direction. So being very clear and transparent about those things, being very upfront and making sure that the employees have the resources that they need to do their job and as well as understand what the company policies are also critical. If the employees need additional training to do their jobs, make sure that they have the proper links and information that they need to complete safety training, harassment training, anything that relates to their job. Don't hold back on information because sometimes their direct line, their direct manager may be withholding information. And it is important to not keep secrets when it comes to assuring that the employee has access to certain things. And that's how people get into trouble with discrimination and a lot of shady practices. But make sure that the employees have the things that they need. Last but not least is being responsive. And not only responding to emails within the business day and things like that, but when they have a very critical issue, harassment, anything non-compliant, if they have a critical issue, a complaint, something that will put the company at risk, it is important to please follow the due process, do what you need to do, and assure the employee that things will get handled. Even though your hands may be tied, and I'll probably get into that in a different video, but even if the organization does not support you, You, as a human resources professional, need to make sure that you're a person of your word and that you're going to see through to the end that that harassment claim or discrimination claim or any incident that gets reported is thoroughly investigated and the due process is followed within the organization. That's it for me in this video. If you like what you've heard, click subscribe and I will see you in the next video.